changed your name at the age of 30.
My name before was Daryl, which was a name given to me, I understand, by my mum, who had a best friend, sadly, strangely ended his life at 30.
For you, it must have felt like it's jinx, like by the age of 30, something really bad is going to happen to me.
You know, I was quite overweight, I was unhappy, I was stressed out with work, stressed out in a relationship, and the name was kind of there bothering me quite a lot.
New identity gave you a whole new life.
I lost 30 kilos quite quickly, I was healthier, my mindset was healthier, I was less angry.
Because you changed so much, you also changed your friendships as well.
And I always tell this story. At our wedding, we had a super small wedding, 30 guests, and that includes friends and family. I didn't have my brother and my sister there. Why didn't I have my brother and sister? Because they don't bring value to my life.
And also, what about your mother?
I haven't seen her for many, many years, since I was 11.
Question, what would you tell to your little self if you had him in front of you? I think this is such a deep question and it makes us realize of so many things. What would you tell me?
You know, this is a really deep question. That made me feel a bit funny.
Hello, welcome to Everybody's Lost podcast. I'm Verónica Muñoz Martinez, journalist and your host. And today I'm going to ask you as well, how old are you? Whoever is listening to me, maybe you are in your 40s, your 30s, or like me in your 20s. And I think there's this pressure when you are in your late 20s, as I am right now, to achieve so many things by the age of 30. And we are all so scared to reach 30 years old. And that's why I invited to this episode to Isaac Kong.
Hi.
He's an AI consultant, podcaster like me. He has a podcast called Chatterbeans, and sometimes personal trainer who changed his whole life around at the age of 30. So thank you so much, Isaac, for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. So you have a podcast called Chatterbeans where you share also amazing stories, but never yours, right?
Never mind. People try and ask me questions in the episode, but I'm like, no, it's about you. It's about the guest.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to be here sharing my story, I guess.
Yeah, it happens to me as well. Like when I ask something and then they ask me, and you, I'm like, well, sometimes some person asks me about dating apps or my relationships. I'm like, I'm not here to talk about this.
Exactly. Although you came onto my podcast and that's coming out really soon.
Yes,
and we do talk a bit about you.
Yeah, I talk about me, so I think
Exactly.
it's different. There's something you never shared publicly, that is that you changed your name at the age of 30.
Changed my name?
So
I changed many things.
So let's start with your name. What was your name before?
So my name before was Daryl, which was a name given to me, I understand, by my mum, who had a best friend, sadly, strangely ended his life at 30. And so she called me that, which was all a bit strange. And I think when I was approaching 30, there was this big pressure. I always hated the name. No one knew how to spell it, how to say it. I could never say it. And I felt like I was on this big journey of kind of big change approaching. And the name, I think, was the first thing that unlocked a series of changes. And then, Isaac came along. That's the name.
Why Isaac?
I'd loved it for so long. And I did this little list of like, right, what do I want to be called? Like, you know, you've got a chance, right? Mm-hmm. So spoke to my dad. He was really supportive and said, yeah, you've mentioned it many times before. And got rid of the name officially, legally, and changed to Isaac.
Yeah, because the name for you, it must have felt like it's jinx. Like by the age of 30, something really bad is going to happen to me. Like it did. Like I guess your mom did it because, of course, maybe it was her best friend and she really loved him. But at the same time, the story is not a beautiful story to tell to your kid.
No, it's quite strange, actually, isn't it? It's like, and I think it was that, I was quite overweight. I was unhappy. I was stressed out with work, stressed out in a relationship. And the name was kind of there bothering me quite a lot. And I think it was that thing of, oh God, 30. Like everyone talks about 30. And I just felt like I'd got to this point where things need to change. And, yeah, the name was something that I just wasn't happy about for a long time.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed another chance, and it felt like the right opportunity to kind of start again, start afresh. But it was a big deal, right? Changing your name when people know you as a certain person. There were definitely people thinking, is he okay? Like,
Like,
has he lost
has
his
he gone
mind?
mad?
Has he gone mad? I was having questions like, has he broken the law and is trying to run away? Honestly,
Something that she like wants to change it.
literally, like robbed a bank, and so now I need to like change my name.
Well,
And
I remember you did a haze. Have you seen this haze that happened recently in the Louvre?
yes,
Maybe you were part of it. That's
I was
why
part
you...
of it. This is it. This is why I changed my name. So yeah, it was a big change, and I think for a while some people were still calling me by my old name. I forgive them. My rule was kind of like when I'd seen people for the first time, like the first couple of times, it's okay to make a mistake. Then you really need to call me Isaac. That's my name now. So and it just felt like me, like changing it. I felt refreshed, like this new energy.
You are choosing your identity.
Yeah.
Because I always say this, but you are not responsible of your past, but you are responsible of your future. And you
100%.
wanted, as I mentioned before, to turn your life around because you was overweight and really unhappy. So how did that change of name change you?
Yeah, it made me realize that, like you say, we're in control of the future. So it gave me this like new energy to think. And what I do think as well, many celebrities, as we know them by their name, it's not their real name.
No, it's an artist's name, so
Exactly
it's their persona.
Right. So I did feel a bit like a diva, like like I'm an artist now, like I've created this new name for myself. But it did give me renewed energy. I was able to start in a new job, a new relationship as Isaac. I met my husband now. Back then as Isaac, and obviously he knows the story now. But it felt like, I was able to almost craft my future, like, and it just gave me that energy to think, now I can do this. Now I can lose the weight. Now I can, do many things. But it was that kickstarted it all.
Yeah, and also that shaped you into a new person, healthier one as well. And that way you could meet your husband, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you would have met your husband if you were in the same mindset, shape, name?
No.
Your new identity gave you a whole new life.
Exactly. It was the start of all the changes that then gave me the headspace. I'd gone through a lot of therapy, I lost 30 kilos of weight. I got super fat during lockdown. Almost 5 years ago, and I lost 30 kilos quite quickly. I was healthier. My mindset was healthier. I was less angry. Work had given me a lot of stress at that point. And by doing all those things, I was healthier mentally, physically, to meet Oscar, my husband. And of course, there's been a lot of work since. It wasn't just I did all those things and I was fixed. It's a long journey of therapy. It's a long journey of figuring out who you are. But it was being brave at 30 to go, no, actually, I can make these changes. And I feel so good. I'm glad that I did it because I don't know where I would be now, who I would be with, what sort of life I would have if I hadn't done all those things.
Yeah, you get repeating the same patterns and like just dragging it along. And that's why like you think by the age of 30 you have your life all figured out. When I think we always think that when we are in our early 20s or when we are 18, that by the age of 30 I'm going to have a house and kids and this and that, but it's not real. Right now we have the privilege of changing jobs. You told me like your last job was really stressful for you.
This is it. I think sometimes we get into these routines and we think, well, this is my life until I retire, or until something bad happens. We're able to control our narrative. We're able to control our lives. And on my podcast, I meet people time and time again that have made these big changes, taken risks, and it just makes me feel really pleased and happy when I hear these stories, because there are many people out there that are too afraid. They're too risk adverse to change anything. But I really want people to be able to just listen to their inner self and make some changes. And I feel so good looking back that I did that. And I hope this story resonates with many people, because you don't have to just stick at it. You know, we can change careers, we can end a relationship if it's not healthy. But sometimes it's just that first step. Like, it can be too stressful. You know, we get too worried about, well, what will people say? You know, will I be alone? There's a lot of that to deal with. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. And I think the name change for me, you know, I felt great when I did it. I announced it on my Facebook and my LinkedIn, and like I say, people were making comments. They, you know, are you okay? But they soon get over it, because, you know, everyone wants to talk about it, but they soon get over it, and then they identify you as Isaac, and now no one ever talks about it. So it's great.
You changed everything.
Yeah.
And how did your family react to it?
Yeah, I think when I called my dad to say, by the way, I'm just thinking about changing my name, he was like, okay. And he's like, you've mentioned it a few times before, so I'm not surprised. And I said, okay, well, I'll let you know what happens. 1 week later, I had done the deed. It's called like a deed poll in the UK, where you can change your name legally. And I was like, oh, I've done it. I'm called Isaac. And he's like, well, I didn't expect you to wait, because I'm not someone that like waits around for things. And I think because I'd been thinking about it for such a long time, he was cool with it. And it took him a while. Occasionally he slips into calling me Daryl.
Yeah,
still
of course.
now. But, you know, he's got much better about it. I think, you know, getting married last summer, you know, he was there. Everyone that was there is kind of part of my new life. There was a few that's still been around for many, many years in my life, but they see me as Isaac. They see me getting married to the guy as this healthy person. And I think that was a big step.
Yeah,
seeing this is Isaac, you know.
Your husband is the same age as me, 27,
Yes.
and you are seeing a lot like the same like stress about turning 30. For us, it's like, I don't know. I feel like when I turn 30, it's like a funeral. Like my 20s, bye to my 20s.
You know, I understand it, because the 20s, especially living somewhere like London, you know, I moved to London at 22. You have such exciting years. You figure out who you are. You do many different things. You take more risks than probably when you're in your 30s. But you know what? Me turning 30, making those changes, as I've now settled into a marriage, you know, I'm 34, I'll be 35 early next year. Like, I'm having the best fun. I look younger than I did when I was 30, because I've lost the weight. I'm healthier. You know, and I just think actually it's been such an exciting part. And this is what I say to Oscar: don't worry about the 30s. Just enjoy what you've got right now. It's just a new chapter. Like, you'll have different challenges, but you'll have so many more new opportunities. So embrace the 20s, and then really look forward to your 30s. I think there is a lot of focus on turning 30. I think particularly for women, actually, I hear it more in women. But it's just fun.
I think for a woman, it's like the woman, they have this pressure of having a family or having kids. But actually, I've seen it with my own eyes. My mom had my brother when she was 37, and she was really healthy. My brother is really healthy.
Yeah.
It's not like geriatric pregnancy that they call it.
Yeah.
I think it depends on your health. If you are healthy and everything, 37 can feel like your 20s. Of course, you have to look after yourself and everything.
Yeah. I think this is it. It's the mindset that we get into. Some people will go, oh, I'm 30, I'm in a boring career, I'm in a bad relationship, and therefore they don't do anything about it. They just continue to be stressed. They will look unhealthy. They will feel older than they are, and therefore 30s will not be fun. But if you can really try and reframe it, take a step back and just go, you know what? I feel healthy. Like, I can make this change, and that will unlock all of these new thoughts and energy. That's exactly what happened to me. Like, I trained to become a personal trainer.
Yes.
At 31. You know, I lost the weight and then thought, right, what do I want to do? I'd always wanted to teach cycle classes. And I did. And I have been an instructor solidly for 3 years at London's biggest club, like Third Space. Been teaching amazing people like in these classes. And I always get imposter syndrome. And recently I've kind of stopped teaching. But, you know, to go from someone who was so overweight to changing my name, learning to become a PT, an instructor, like, I felt so good about myself. And yeah, it took time,
So
but it's just that would be my advice to people. It's
yeah,
just, take one step. You don't need to do everything at once. It wasn't like I did everything overnight. It was just one thing, then the other, then the other. And it's been the best thing.
first going to therapy or so. Changing your physical appearance, it's not like only going to the gym. I think you change your physical appearance. Like the first thing, when you are happier and you feel fulfilled with your life, you are going to look 100 times better. Doesn't matter your weight. Like you are going to be glowing, everything. And then everything will follow, because if you go to therapy, you will feel happier to go to the gym. Then I think it goes hand in hand. Like gym and therapy is like, gym is also a way of therapy because it improves your serotonin. You go there and you don't think about anything, and you meet people that are healthy.
Yeah.
So also you told me, like, basically your new friends, you have a lot of new friends. They don't even know about your other name, everything, because you change so much. You also change your friendships as well.
I think this is it. Someone who didn't live in London growing up, I moved here when I was 22. You kind of fit into different groups, and you're still finding yourself in your 20s, and you're working out, what do I like? What are my interests? And you fit into different groups quite often. And some people keep those groups even if they no longer work for you.
Yeah.
Because you feel guilt or you don't want to take a risk of ending some friendships. For me, it was a case of really stepping back. What friendships bring me joy? What friendships do I value? Which people value me? And I always tell this story. At our wedding, we had a super small wedding, 30 guests, and that includes friends and family. I didn't have my brother and my sister there, and I didn't have many people.
Why didn't you have your brothers?
Why didn't I have my brother and sister? Because they don't bring value to my life. We're not close enough. And I don't think they reacted very well to that, particularly my brother.
Accept you?
They accept me, but we're just so different. I couldn't call up them and ask for help if I was in trouble. And that for me was a big sign. So I said to Oscar, I only want people there that I could absolutely call up if I needed help. And those people that could call me and I would drop everything and help them.
There for you.
Yeah.
And also, what about your mother?
I haven't seen her for many, many years, since I was 11. I think I saw her once in my teenage years. But, my mum and dad split up when I was 5. Same. It was quite Exactly. It was quite traumatic. I think at 5 years old, we do have memories.
Yeah, and I think you have to grow much faster when you are mature at such a young age, because at the age of 5, I remember when my parents split and I told to my mom, like, we are really calm now. And it's not like it was my father's fault or my mother's fault. It's just I knew there was some tension between them, and now that tension was relieved and it was good for them. And I don't know, like, how could I be so self-aware, how aware of things at such a young age? I guess the same for you.
This is it. And in therapy, one of the questions that I haven't avoided, but my therapist has struggled to get out of me, is about childhood. And it's because I blocked out so much. And now the questions are around, what memories do you have from a child? And they're all quite traumatic. They're the bad things that happen. They're the arguments that happen between my parents. Can I remember playing in a park happily? No. And Oscar finds it crazy. He's like, how do you not have these memories? But I think probably because I've suppressed it so far, I only have these negative memories. I remember the arguments I had with my mum, her behaviours, things like that. And I made the decision very young, I don't want to have anything to do with her. And I have stuck to that, and I don't think about her. I don't miss her. I don't think about her. She's not part of my life. And that's okay. Like, she was just someone who gave birth to me. And some people will say, that's terrible. You need your mom. You need your parents.
Yeah, well, it happened to me the same. I stopped talking to my mom because the same. She could be aggressive and toxic, and she was also hurting so many people that I love, that I decided to stop talking with her, because otherwise, if you keep talking with them, you are going to, like, there, like they are going to take you through to their darkness and
Exactly.
where they are. So you have to, or you want to keep being with them and you are going to be like them, because it's true, you are the person you spend the
Yeah.
most time with. So, or you want to end in that path or just create your own path. And it's true, it's your mother and it, like, they gave us birth, but I always think, like, they chose to have us. We didn't choose to be their kids. We didn't choose the way they behave and everything, and we don't
Exactly.
owe them anything just because, yeah, like, we can be grateful that they looked after us. We can be grateful about the happy moments and everything, but if the bad moments kind of are worse than and more than the happy moments, then it's really hard.
I completely agree. And I think, there will be people that judge anyone who doesn't talk to their parents, but they don't
Yeah.
understand the situation, right? And for me, I don't want negativity. I want to focus on the happy times. I want people in my life. And this is why some friendships disappeared, because if they don't bring me joy, if they don't care about the friendship, when people don't care about the friendship. And a bit like ending a relationship, it's the same as ending a friendship. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It doesn't need to be like this big drama. It just, people change. And I think particularly as you come out of your late 20s into your 30s, that's the chance for you to have the kind of adult life that you want to have. That includes, who do you want in your life? Do I want these friendships that are not bringing me joy, that are not meaningful? But too many people are scared to cut relationships off or to be alone.
Or because it's like so long time that you have been friends with.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I know this person since I'm in school or
Yeah.
whatever. But if they don't bring value to your life, if
Yeah.
they are not good friends, and also, do you think that the fact that you were able to stop talking with your mom makes it easier for you now as an adult to just break friendships or stop or not, or is it still hard for you?
I think it's still hard, and I do sometimes look back at friendships and think, was that my fault that it didn't work? And I think we always question things many
Yes.
times. Was it my fault? Should I have made more effort? But ultimately, I think everyone knows the situation, and friendships and relationships work two ways. So it's not all one person. It takes two people in a relationship to make it work or to make it fail. But sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves. Oh, it was all my fault. It wasn't. And there were friendships that just simply ran its course. Like, they just naturally came to an end. And it's okay. And actually, some of the more recent friendships that have ended didn't end in any dramatic way. It literally ended over coffee. I didn't know it was going to end, but that was the last time I saw them. And I haven't seen them since. And it's because you both know. You both know that we're going off in different directions.
But the thing about friendship is not like relationships, like you break up. But with friendships, it's like there's one moment where you know you are not fully aligned, or this person has some toxic behaviors and you don't want it anymore. And slowly you are distancing yourself from them. But it's like a breakup as well, but it's more like blurred.
It's more blurred for sure, because a relationship, there's much more interlink, right? You have an emotional connection, a physical connection, probably sexual connection as well. Like, it's harder than a friendship. But yeah, I think, I have seen friendships go, and sometimes I sit there and I question myself, but I'm happy. And I think if you know that you're happy now, then they probably did run its course and it's done. But I do find it hard. I find it hard at the thought of being alone. And there's many times where I've said to Oscar, oh my God, I have no friends. And he's like, you do have friends, but now I have much more meaningful friendships. I have deeper friendships, but I don't see them as often. So I have good friends, really close friends that I might see every 2 months. But when we see each other, it's amazing. Like, we're both interested in each other. We catch up for many hours. And I think that's just the difference between being in your 20s and being in your 30s.
I was going to say that's when you reach adulthood. Like, in your 20s, you are studying or something, but you have much more free time.
Yeah.
And even you don't have free time, you don't care, okay, let's do plans, I will sort it out. But when you're on your 30s, you have to pay bills and your work
Yeah.
gets more serious. And
Life is more, it's busier. You're more stressed generally, so you need more time to yourself. We have different interests. In your 20s, it's like, yeah, let's go out for a drink, let's get a coffee. It's I feel like it's less serious. And so I think that's an opportunity going into 30s to look at it with excitement. It's just different, and I think sometimes we're scared of change. That's the biggest fear, but actually it's a nice change.
yeah.
And, now I'm thinking about my next phase of life, which is hopefully becoming a dad at some point in the next few
You
years.
want to become a dad?
Yeah, I do. And
Here in London? Or?
No, we want to move to Canada. But both of us come from divorced parent families, like broken homes, if you like. And so I think we both have this passion to make it work and have a baby
and have a healthy household.
Totally.
The household that you never had.
Exactly. And I think that probably in part is because of the life I had. And I really want to be a good dad. I want to give my child, all sorts of things that I didn't have. And I know that Oscar's aligned to that as well. So it's exciting. And it's just the next part, 30s for me really have been so far the best years.
Yeah, but
and there's more to come.
There's more to come, like your future and
exactly.
So talking about your husband and everything, when did you start to being open about your sexuality, if you want to tell, or you were always clear about it?
No, and this is what I think is interesting. So I moved to London 22 and I came out at 23. So I realised I was gay. Before that I had 2 relationships with girls. I had a 2-year relationship, then another 2-year relationship. That ended and I moved to London, and it was exciting. The first couple of years in London, I was dating guys, I was partying a lot.
Where did you go to? Heaven?
Heaven, GAY. It was GAY bar, GAY late, and then Heaven every Friday, every Saturday. Yeah. It was fun.
Living in London in your early 20s is so fun. I think
I was getting the night bus home at 3 a.m. to Wood Green with my McDonald's. Like, it was crazy. It was it was fun. I had lots of different groups of friends all the time. And I was meeting many, many guys. It was fun. But then, then I got into a relationship that I was in for 5 years. So that was from my mid-20s to 30. And so I kind of settled down a little bit. But coming out, I think, super easy. Family accepted it. It was great. But I think because I came out later, I probably worry sometimes about what people think. I do feel like London is becoming slightly harder to do anything, to be gay. Like,
well, they say homophobia doesn't exist, and that is not true.
It's not true.
Like, tell me whatever you want. That also some people find is controversial. I don't care. They say, oh, pride. And what about pride for heterosexual people? But I see where I've been to Soho with my gay friends, and they make fun of them because of the way they act. Because what I'm really fascinated about is like how gay people, they are so, I don't know, they have a lot of humor, and I love my gay friends, but I've seen the stares, the people mocking them.
It's the staring
and
for me.
There's still a lot of homophobia, and even two of my friends who are lesbian as well, like they were kissing, but not like kissing, like making out, like just like normal kiss in bars, and someone told them off, and you won't tell off like a heterosexual couple.
Exactly. It's my biggest issue right now in London is that we get stared at, and we're not very public displays of affection. Like, we will maybe have a kiss, or we'll always hold hands. That's the thing. We always hold hands. The amount of people that stare at us, like, and it's from children, it's adults, and I've started to get quite frustrated, and I just I'm staring back at them like, what? Like, because you don't do it to anyone else. And it really bothers me walking through Soho now, because that is known by anyone in the world pretty much. Soho is the gay area.
It's a safe place.
It should be a safe place. The flags are flying. So then when tourists come, or people come to Soho and then make judgment. I just think, why? You know where you are. This is a place, like when they walk past the shops and you've got different like naked bodies, or like the men from the there's like different sex shops and things like this. People are laughing, and I'm like, this is a part of London. If you don't like it, don't come here, or go to a different part. But it happens, and it's on the tube. It's when we're walking. It's like the stairs. That's what really bothers me, and you've just got to be aware. And I guess there are times where I get a bit worried and I'll not hold his hand. And it shouldn't be like that.
No, of course not.
We got married last year in central London, and it was amazing because when we came out to do our photo shoot outside the hotel and in parts of central London, there were like buses like going past and people cheering and making such like nice remarks. And I actually felt, wow, like this is really nice. There was no negativity. There was no real bad staring. Everyone was like, oh, congratulations. Celebrating love, exactly. But then on a day-to-day, when they see you holding hands, there's just staring. It's just, it's a shame. But it does feel, particularly in Soho as well now, walking through Soho does not feel the same as 10 years ago. 10 years ago when I moved to London, it was so exciting on a Friday, Saturday night, during the daytime. But the gay venues are disappearing. It's changing. And I get a little bit worried. I don't want to get political, but I do get a little bit worried about the next election in the UK. Pride funding. They're talking about not being allowed to fly LGBT flags. It does worry me, but I think it's happening a lot of places in the world, and it's a shame.
Do you think it's getting the UK more homophobic in terms of politics?
I think so. We look at reform. There's comments being made, and it's sad. I think, and I feel it more now that I'm married, I think, because I can't imagine a time where, imagine they changed the laws for gay people to not be allowed to get married or have a civil partnership. I do see us potentially rolling back to these times, and that's sad.
I think if someone is not hurting you with their actions, why should you care?
I just want a different energy, and I think that is also a little bit moving into my 30s. I think I'm just a bit tired of London now. It's not the same city that I remember from when I was in my 20s, and I think COVID changed a lot. I talk about it actually on my podcast quite often with people. I feel like the etiquette in London since COVID has completely changed.
Yeah.
People are much more frustrated. They don't let you off the tube. They stand in front of the doors. People are rude. This is not everyone.
Don't you think it's because of the phones as well? Like people, they have no spatial awareness. And one thing that I was thinking about it when you told me, they will stare at you because you are holding hands with your husband. But when you see a girl crying on the floor or you see someone begging, they don't even look or they don't even stare. Like they don't really care. So why do you care about something so much? But then like you don't care about other things.
This is it. I don't understand it. And it's the same with transgender people as well. Like people get so fixated on these issues that affect such a small group of people, but to them it's their whole life. When they're constantly being put down, stared at, just move on. Like you stick to your life, I'll stick to mine. And so it is a shame, but we're quite good. We try and just carry on. So yeah, I feel happy.
Well, really, like when you came to London also, it was discovering your sexuality, everything. I think London, it's true, it has bad sides like the politics and now inflation, high rent, you name it, there are so many. But I think in London you can really be yourself, because it's true, you still have people who stare at you, but I don't know why. It's like you can really be free yourself and discover your identity.
Yeah.
The first time I came to London, I saw so many people going out the station. I was waiting for my friend, and it was like, wow, because I'm a small town girl, and everyone kind of dresses the same and the same style. Yeah. But here, everyone has their own style from so many different countries, and I was in awe. Yeah. So I guess for you, like your early 20s in London was amazing.
It was amazing. And I remember calling friends back in my hometown, or I'd speak to my family and like, oh, I've done this, I've done this. I worked in TV for a long time,
Oh, okay.
which was super
In
exciting.
TV, what did
Yeah, I
you?
worked on like the X Factor, Britain's Got
Oh,
Talent, Big
nice.
Brother. So these were big shows like 10 years ago that I was working on. I was meeting all types of people in kind of creative industries, and then yeah, going out partying. Like it was crazy. It was so
Mm-hmm.
nice. I felt really alive. Um, but I guess now I feel alive in different ways. It's
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, your 20s are special, of course, but so are your 30s, and I think that's my big message really.
Yeah.
But
Do you
yeah,
think like your early 20s was when you starting kind of change identity, where early 20s you left your past behind from your, where are you
yes.
from originally?
I'm from a little town. It's not that little. A small town called Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk, so
Mm-hmm.
near Cambridge. So it's only 2 hours from London, but I definitely in those early 20s I was like, I need to leave. Like if I
Yeah.
don't leave now, I'll probably be here forever. And there are some
Mm-hmm.
people that are, you know, there and they're living their life and it's great. For me, it wasn't. Like I couldn't do it. I needed to get to a city. Getting to the city was like these last 12 years have been super exciting.
Yeah.
Um, but now I'm ready for somewhere else. I'm ready to move to a different country and see
Mm-hmm.
that
Now
challenge because
another
that's
big move.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you've done it, right? You've moved to a different country.
Yes.
Like it's different challenges, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But if you have done it once, like once you do it for the first time, the rest is like, I've done it. Like I can do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's, yeah.
I mean, my husband, he's from Hong Kong, right? So he's
Oh,
moved
okay.
from such an incredible place that I've been to a few times, but he moved to Cambridge and then he moved to London. So for him, the thought of moving to Canada is no big deal. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, sure. For me, I'm nervous. Like I've said to him, like I kind of need him to help me when we go because there will be all these things I'm sure that I will feel because it's not the UK. I can't just see my dad and
Yeah.
but I'm excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of family. So you met your husband's family who was in the wedding. Are they like
Yeah.
traditional or?
Yeah, quite. I mean, yeah, I've met all of his friends, his family, his parents. I spent 5 weeks in Hong Kong in our first year. That's where I proposed to him
Mm-hmm.
after 1 year, and then they all came across for the wedding. Um, and it was quite a strange moment merging kind of a very Asian group of people
Yeah.
with my very Western group. Um, but it was so special to have them all in the
Mm-hmm.
same space. I think we were both a bit nervous, but it was super nice,
Yeah.
and they've been really welcoming to me and to the family. Which we had Oscar's dad walk him down the aisle, which for a Asian dad walking his gay son, like
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Wow, that was such a special moment," and it was special, and I do feel lucky. He was very open with his family about his sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
mine equally, so it felt quite easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's been nice.
Yeah, and also you have, well, a bit this trauma bond that both your parents separated. So
Yeah.
how did you do it to have this healthy, loving relationship?
With Oscar,
Yes, a lot of inner work, but also a
a
lot of
lot.
communication between you
Yeah,
two.
do you know what? And I'm sure he won't mind me talking about this, but when I first met Oscar, I was coming out of obviously the end of my previous
Mm.
relationship, and I think there was such a contrast from the unhappy me to wow, I've met this guy that's so refreshing and it was exciting and he brought a different energy to my life that I hadn't had before. But then after a little while, the issues creep in because my insecurities came back, or
Yeah.
things like that. And we did have a few big arguments. And one of them prompted me to start going to therapy because I'd done some therapy previously, but it kind of reignited the need. I need to go to therapy and I really need to work on some of these issues. Massively around insecurity. He's going to leave me. He's going to have enough of me. He's going to realize I'm not the one. That went on for a long time, but we've done so much work. Communication is the big thing. Like listening to each other. We don't always get it right, but if I can sit and listen to what he's saying, he's very patient with me. Um, that's been special to have someone that really understands me. He's still learning about me as well, about my family
Mm-hmm.
situation. Like he knew the general story, but only recently he realized that I don't really have that many memories of childhood. And I think if you don't have memories of childhood, this is how we play things out in our adult life. So communication's been a big thing. Just sharing how we're feeling. When we're not feeling great, just say it.
Yeah, so the other person knows, because otherwise they have to figure out like what's going on. And
Yeah,
yeah,
this is it. I think, yeah, sometimes you want to live this like super happy life and like we're
but
perfect.
it doesn't exist. It's just in
Doesn't
there.
exist. Every relationship, friendships, relationships have issues, but it's about talking about it. And even, you know, even getting married, I think people think, oh, they must be so happy, they must be perfect. It doesn't mean we don't argue. We still
There are
argue. We
always
still have,
challenges.
you know, there's always challenges. Um, but when you have that bond of a marriage, I think, and particularly me and him because of our background, the effort to want to make it work and like the energy is so there. Like, I cannot let this fail. Like, I want to make it work. We want to make each other happy.
It's a commitment and a promise that I'm going to be there through
Yes.
thick and thin, like
Yeah.
through health and
This is
sickness.
exactly right. And you know, there's so much pressure nowadays because I don't know the actual number, but the statistics of people getting divorced is so high. People give up far too easily. And I think that was one of our big things is, are we ready to get married? Are we ready for this commitment? And I think we definitely were. And that bond is still strong. So, yeah, I'm not giving up.
No,
Yeah.
you have a beautiful future together, and
I hope so.
also being in like there's a shift, right, between being in a relationship and marrying, and also between dating in your 20s and in your 30s. So what
Yes.
have you learned? What do you think you are more mature about in relationships now that you are 30, if you compare it to your 20s?
Do you know what? One thing I've realised, and Oscar loves saying this, is you will never get 100% of everything you want in one person. And I've really spent the last 4 or 5 years learning this. You cannot expect everything from your partner. When you're in your 20s and you're dating, you have this checklist. They need to look this way. They need to be this type of person. They need to, you know, be good at X, Y, Z. When you get older, it doesn't matter. Like, it needs to be about their core. Do they care for you? Do they want...
But the core is the hardest part, because like you can find funny people or good
Yeah.
looking or this, but
Yeah.
the core, like that is honesty, that
Yes.
they understand you, that they really love you and they
Yeah.
are caring. Those traits, not every human has it. So
They don't, and they're the traits that take longer to find out. You can go on a
Yeah.
first date with someone, they're not very attractive. Most people will cut it off there and then. They don't find them attractive. But they might have the most amazing core, which for me, as you get older, that's the most important thing. Is their core of their being what you want? Sure, they might not have blonde hair, or they might be a little bit overweight, or they, I don't know, like those superficial things, they matter less as you get older. And I think when you're younger in your 20s, particularly in the gay community, too many gay guys shut down dates so quickly because they don't like something about the person, even though they're at their core it could be the most amazing person. You know, does Oscar clean up the flat as much as I would like him to clean? No.
Oscar,
Bless him,
if you
sorry.
said this.
He doesn't, and likewise, like, am I too particular about cleaning? My standards are probably too high. His are slightly lower. But you realise that doesn't matter because the core of him is who I want to be with. So I think they're the big shifts that you learn as you get older. And, you know, that wasn't easy for me. I spent so long dating guys where I was like, I want this, I want this.
Like
No
stop it.
one can have everything that you want. And it takes time, it takes compromise. Like, compromise is, I know it's a word used a lot in relationships, but it's so important. And I think if you can realize that not any one person will give you 100% of what you're looking for, far more couples will stay together, or more relationships would develop quicker. You know, it's too easy to look at pictures of people and go, oh, they're not what I want, but they might be the most amazing person for you.
And now it's really easy, right, with dating apps and everything, social media.
Oh, yeah.
And I think your 100%, what you want them to do, is not like their 100%. So sometimes you also have, like, you can't expect someone to love you the way you want. They love their way, and you have to accept their way as well.
This has been a big thing. I used to have this argument with him very often at the beginning. I want you to love me the way I want to be loved. And he's like, yeah, but I want you to love me the way I want to be loved. That sometimes they don't match. So it's finding the compromise. And, this is where far too many relationships give up because they're saying, well, you don't love me the way I want to be loved. It's compromise. It's both sides.
There are some core things, of course, like caring and loving and honesty. Those core things in love that they are non-negotiable, I think. But there are some things that you can negotiate, and as you also did therapy help you the way you see yourself, love yourself? Because I think this is really important to first love yourself, to love others, because I guess you thought changing your name, losing the weight, you really loved yourself, but then you discover that you didn't as much with, because you was scared of him leaving you and everything.
This was it. It's like those things are, they're important to figure out who you are, and losing the weight was great. Like, I looked different, but that's just one thing. Like, actually inside, I didn't like myself very much. And I kept comparing myself to other, particularly in the gay community. It's super hard. You compare yourself to a guy at the gym. You're like, oh, why do I not have those muscles? So you have to really work on yourself, because then, what I was doing quite often, and I still do it occasionally, and even being married, is like, he's checking out a guy. He's not. Just happens to be a guy's walking past that's attractive. And that happens in day-to-day life, right? Doesn't mean it's the end of the relationship. He's about to run away and cheat on me. But it takes a long time, and the therapy really helped me understand my insecurities. Where does it come from? Being worrying for so long that he was going to leave me. Obviously, a therapist would link it back to childhood, because my mom.
Trauma is but it's really hard also to just pour all your childhood trauma and everything. And
of course, childhood does shape who we are. To an extent, but it doesn't mean it determines who you're going to become. Yeah,
you have to choose. I think in your adulthood, you can choose who you want to be, how you want to be named, or your personality. You have to just analyze. I think you did a lot of inner work in that shadow work and everything.
Did a lot. I have done a lot, and my therapist will still talk to me now about, should we talk about your childhood a bit more? And I'm like, I don't feel like I need to, and maybe in the future that will change, but right now, I've done a lot of work on understanding who I am, getting to the core of, am I happy with what I look like? And it's taken a long time. I don't think I'm 100% there, but I feel so much better about myself. I put on weight very easily, so I'm so quick to judge myself, thinking, oh, I got fat. They're slowly disappearing, these thoughts, these intrusive thoughts, but it's taken years of work. And I think sometimes people get fixated on trying to make things fixed very quickly. I don't think we're ever fixed 100%.
No.
And if you can get to that point of going, okay, I'm not ever going to be 100% for someone or for myself, that's okay. I will do what I can do, and I will keep making an effort, and I will keep trying, and then hopefully you'll find your happiness.
Yeah, we are always a work in progress, right? Like that, the fact that you go to therapy doesn't mean that you fix all your problems, because they will always come things. I personally thought some things I overcame it, like the trauma with my mother or something, but then some other things came, like if when you are in a relationship, then all of that also resurfaces, or you have to discover yourself in a relationship, because there's a difference also between being single in a relationship. Like single, you just do whatever you want, everything. You don't need communication with your friends. You don't need as much communication. You can be some days without talking, but with this relationship, you talk every day. And then if you have a bad day, it's not like you can escape from it, right?
Totally. It's one of the big things. We live together, obviously. We're married, we live together. We spend a lot of time in the same space. And only recently we've got to the point of we can be in the same space, but not having to talk, not having to be doing something together. Sometimes I'll come home and I just need to watch some TV in silence with him there, but let's talk in a little while. And it's all about communication. I've had a bad day. I'm just going to edit my podcast and then I'll come back and see you. Or likewise, he might want to read a bit of a book. Could you go and do something? Yeah, sure. Because it's communication.
And communication can be non-verbal communication in a way that you can be together and
Yeah.
just be silent, quiet. How
Exactly.
beautiful is that?
Yeah.
Just enjoy each other's company without the need to talk
Yeah.
or.
One of my best memories with Oscar that really for me highlighted that I think we've got a great relationship is we were in uh, Iceland earlier this year in January, and we went on a 10-hour drive from one part of Iceland to the other. 10 hours in a car with someone with very quiet music. And there were times where we were chatting, there were times where it was silent, and we were able to be in that space together, not feeling uncomfortable, not worrying, is he okay? Like, I'm driving. Like, it was just such a beautiful time. And it was obviously the nature was stunning, but it was just that we could be in that space together, not having to fill every second with conversation. And it was like, we can do 10 hours in a car together in the middle of nowhere. We're okay.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
every time you remember a beautiful memory, I don't think you really remember the conversation and everything that was going on. What you remember the most is the feeling. Like, I felt happy. I felt so excited.
I felt calm.
Yeah, I felt calm.
You know, I'm not stressing. I'm not overthinking. I'm not worried what he's thinking. Are you okay? Like, it was just calm. And that was a special feeling.
Yeah, Do you think also that it was hard for you because you came from a toxic household and everything? And when we have a toxic household, people, what they do is they keep repeating the patterns because it was feels comfortable. So for you to have like this healthy relationship was too comfortable, and you was waiting or even sabotaging yourself.
Self-sabotage, biggest thing that came up in my therapy. I think I definitely was guilty of that, and I think Oscar was as well, is that it's going too well, so let me start an argument. Let me try and make it unhappy. Like, let's try and ruin it. Not purposely, not consciously, subconsciously. I do think that happens. And again, I would talk it through with my therapist. This was what happened. This is what I said. Why did you say that? I don't know. and actually, I realised maybe I was trying to sabotage it because I wasn't used to things being so good. And so childhood trauma, previous relationship trauma, it always carries through. But it's then being able to, I think the biggest part is being able to say that to your partner. I did this because I think it was to do with my ex, or I probably did that to try and upset you because of what happened in the past. Once you be able to communicate like that, then you can resolve the issues, right? Or you can try and deal with them.
And also, it's true, like, it comes from the past, but also there's a point that you have to say, like, I detach myself, I remove myself from the past, and I'm not gonna blame my attitude and these toxic behaviors or these behaviors to my past or to my mom or to my family.
Yeah, because not everything is to do with the past.
Yeah.
Some things is just that you've had a really bad day at work and you're stroppy, or you feel angry, and it's not always to do with something so deep as the past, or, you know, me not feeling good about myself. It can just be someone annoyed you on the tube, or they bumped into you, or you got your phone stolen. Like, it can be, I say got your phone stolen because in London it seems to be happening a lot.
There's lots. One day, like, they were going to steal the phone from me, but my friend, she got the wallet stolen previous week. So I was like with the phone like this, and it was the road, and I was looking at her. So then she saw this guy like with like, you know how they are like the
balaclava. Yeah.
I always call baklava.
No.
Balaclava.
Bit different.
Yeah, and he was like going, like, she told me like, oh, your phone, Veronica, and I just like dropped it, and then he grabbed only my hand.
Amazing.
I dropped but it was like in London. If we had to like criticize London, everything that happens.
It's just exhausting. But, you know, it's things like that can make you so angry, and you come home and I just don't want to talk to you. Like, it doesn't mean it's to do with the past. It doesn't need to be deeper than that all the time. Of course, there are things that happen, but yeah, sometimes it can just be day-to-day things that are frustrating. And I think it's all about communication.
Yeah, and be aware of that and say, sorry if I had a bad day. I don't want to put it.
It's saying sorry. I found saying sorry so hard. And so does he. Because we didn't grow up in a space that allowed us to make mistakes and say sorry. And I think some of that is generational. So learning to say sorry for me has been like, it's been a really hard thing, but I can do it now.
Yeah. Well,
Just
we should ask
ask
Oscar
him.
about that. Oscar
He'll
doesn't say sorry.
he'll disagree. But yeah, it takes courage. I think it's
Yeah.
almost like it's courage.
Yeah, because I think our parents or what they did, if they were angry or something, well, they can get angry, but also they do the silent treatment.
My
They're-
grandparents did not talk to each other for 1 year. They
yeah.
lived together. It was in my granddad's final year actually, before he died. They spent 1 whole year not talking to each other because they'd had this silly argument, and then it took all of us in the family to try and make them
One
talk
year, are you
again.
imagine in the kitchen like him?
Literally, they were making. He was making his own food. She was doing her own thing, and I was like, "This has got to stop." And then,
Yeah.
sadly, he passed away shortly after they
sorry.
started speaking. It's okay, and this is many years ago now. But you just think it. And my dad is probably the same. Very stubborn. When something gets to you, it's like this stubborn behavior and like silent treatment. So I'm really trying not to be that person, because I think sometimes it does run in families, generations. But we have a chance. We're lucky in a way. Like AI is scary, but we are lucky because there's so much knowledge out there. There's so many
Yeah,
things.
well, you are like
podcasts.
an AI consultant.
Well,
yeah, like.
And
how
I'm doing my
is-
master's now in AI.
Oh,
which
now
is,
it's okay.
it's good. And, AI, a lot of people are worried about it. They get scared about it. I see it as exciting. And I think if we can get to a world where humans and AI work together, not where AI replaces humans, that's the sweet spot. We do need AI. Like, it makes things much more efficient. So it's exciting. It's but I don't think it's going to fully replace humans.
Humans, no. Do you think it's a great tool for therapy? A lot of people are using it for therapy, but actually, I have a friend, well, my best friend, she's a psychologist, and she's like really against it because it reinforces your beliefs.
Yeah, do you know what? I've used it for therapy, and I talked about this with my therapist and on my podcast recently. I was seeing my therapist every week, and one week I wanted an answer to a situation that I had. I was angry about a situation, so I asked ChatGPT therapist module, gave me all the right answers in the sense of my therapist asked me the same things. So actually, what it's not doing is truly understanding who we are, because there's been some sad scenarios recently where someone was telling an AI bot that they were unhappy, they were depressed, and then they asked where are the tallest bridges in the country, and then they ended up killing themselves.
Oh, so because
what the AI isn't doing.
They maybe opened a new conversation or something. It
Yeah.
reads you, but it doesn't kind of like.
It's the emotional bit. It
correlate,
can't get It can't get our emotional
because it's
state.
like if this person asked me this,
Yeah.
and then they are asking me this.
At the moment, it's just machine learning. It's based on logic. So you say something. Oh, I had an argument with my parents. Tell me about your family, because that's the logical thing to ask. It's not because it's understanding how we're feeling, and that's the dangers of it. So I do understand from a therapist's point of view, it can be quite worrying. But like everything is education.
The facial expressions as well. You don't really know if they are asking you from a place of like they are really depressed or from a place of addictions. Like you can really like see a person how they feel by the facial expressions, the way they look, the way they look after themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
The AI can't do that.
No, but I think there'll always be a place for humans in many things that we do.
Well, and podcasting, I think. How has been your podcast journey? Like, do you think it gave you purpose? And also something like, this is the 15th episode, and you reflect so much and you realize that the stories that you hear, that you're not alone in this world, like everybody's lost.
Everybody's lost.
You, like with the Chatterbeans, like you chat about so many different things and so many different stories, and everyone has their own things.
Do you know, the podcast idea came from me. I love coffee. I love sitting in coffee shops. And I quite often hear all these incredible stories. You hear friends talking, or you hear someone next to you having a conversation on the phone. And I think, wow, wouldn't that be great to get it on a podcast? So that's where the idea came from. Chatterbeans, chat, coffee beans. And it was a bit of a kind of fun idea at the beginning, but now it's turning into actually quite a beautiful podcast. I love it because I've got such special conversations with psychologists, fitness instructors, people that have gone through big changes in their life. And everyone, when they walk into the space, they say to me, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm nervous. Within 5 minutes, they're having a great time. And then afterwards, they sit and they go, wow, I've had a good life. Or I didn't know I thought that about that topic. And I'm just getting such amazing conversations. I would say with podcasting, people probably judge, oh, another podcast. Do it if you enjoy it. And I will continue making my podcast while I enjoy it. It may never become the world's biggest podcast, probably not. I may never make money from it. It's okay. But I've loved it. I've had some great conversations. I continue to have good conversations. So I'm just going to keep doing it while I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so I think we talk a lot about age, turning 30, or so what would you say to someone who wants to start their own project, but they think maybe they are too late in life?
Never too late. It's what I've learned from myself, but also all the guests that I've had on. I think since COVID, people are more willing to take risks. There's been a big shift. I see it all the time. People are willing to take risks. We don't just need to do the day job. Like, we can do side projects. Just make a small step. Just start something. Like, it's never too late. And turning 30 is not a bad thing. Honestly.
Well, so what would you tell also to those who feel lost because they are in the late 20s and they feel like they don't have their life figured out and everything? What would you tell them?
Do we ever have our life figured out? I'm not sure we do. All I know is I can speak from my experience. Like, it was a big deal. Like, I was stressed out turning 30, but it's worked out well. I would say just embrace it. Like, it's a whole new chapter. It's a whole new part of exciting part of your life. So embrace it. Let it happen.
And the last question, what would you tell to your little self if you had him in front of you? I think this is such a deep question and it makes us realize of so many things. What would you tell him?
Do you know, this is a really deep question. That made me feel a bit funny. Because, life is not always going to be easy, right? But just be you. Be true to who you are. Like, I've got a great life now. Just keep going. Enjoy the different twists and turns that life will take you. But yeah, and you'll be proud. Like, I'm proud. Yeah, of who I've become, like what I'm doing in life. Like, yeah, I'm really proud of where I've got to. Yeah.
Beautiful, and you have to be proud of who you were as well. We have to be proud of our past versions. I
think this is one thing I still need to work on, is that I very much separate my two lives. I see it as that I've had two lives, pre-30s and since 30. So the Daryl life and the Isaac life. And I think at some point I need to remember my Daryl life, because I had some great memories. But I think I have parked them slightly for a while. But yeah, I've had great times in my 20s, my teens, and now. So
now you have new hopes, a new life.
Exactly.
Hopefully, I wish you like the best of luck with your podcast and your future. And thank you so much for coming, Isaac. So let us know your socials so they can see all the beautiful conversations you have in your podcast and everything.
Thank you. Yeah, so Chatterbeans, at chatter.beans on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me on all the podcast platforms. And my personal Instagram is at Isaac Kong. So yeah, connect with me, ask me questions. Like, thank you for having me.
Thanks to you for coming. Honestly, I really enjoyed this conversation. I felt like we had so much to talk about, and
it's been great.
If you want to also ask him, I guess, I don't know if you want to change your identity, whatever, just reach him out. And my personal Instagram is she's Veronique. She is VERONIQUE. And then you can find Everybody's Lost on TikTok and Everybody's Lost podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And also, if you made it to the end and you like this episode, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button. It takes you 10 seconds. And honestly, only 1/4 of my viewers, listeners follow me. So it will make me really happy to see you are subscribing and supporting, because I really work hard on this. So yeah. Adios, have a nice evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are listening or watching from. Bye.
Thank you.